Alright. 3, 2, 1, boom!
NANI?
Oh my god! Jesus, that's... Oh my god, that startled the fuck out of me. Oh my god!
Slip back. No,
You see this nest? You want to know what built this nest? You don't want to know what built this nest. You want to know what made these bones? You don't want to know what made these.
Oh.
This
That's
bird's
a
a
big
buckbeak
bird.
coated me to my mental stability. The harpy eagle's a homicidal hippogriff with the jungle's census on its hit list. And a big reason is harpies having the largest claws of any bird. Not only do they have vice grip talons that could comfortably dap up a grizzly bear's paws, they say getting gripped by them is like getting caught in a Rottweiler's jaws. They're the national bird of
Yeah, but Rotties are so sweet. They would never bite you. They're so cute.
Panama, but you finna be pantomiming once this Jurassic reject takes your breath. By crushing your windpipe, but by far the most out-of-pocket thing is what nature went ahead and did with their wings. Unlike most birds its size, harpy eagles have relatively short wings. I'm talking about if eagles were the NBA.
Yeah, but look how they're built. They're like umbrellas. So they're catching all the air. They probably like are really good at flying and shit. Damn.
The NBA, this would be their build.
Attack.
But the short wings just means this life unsubscription service can duck and weave through the dense jungle to catch a body. Which also means there are very few things alive in the Amazon that a hunting harpy can't pack up, from monkeys and sloths, to armadillos, snakes, and porcupines, to other predators like ocelots and foxes. They'll also body other birds like parrots, and they'll even murk other raptors like vultures. But then, what even is a raptor? The answer might just surprise you. Raptors are what most people might call birds of prey, which is already a problem because there's plenty of other birds that'll have you praying.
Is that Steve Irwin running away from what is it called? A cassowary?
So the raptor title gets kept to the birds
cassowary, I think it's
a sharp hooked beak, a Jurassic-style pedicure and talons, and an OP sense of sight. So without a hooked beak but webbed feet, the demonic garbage chute misses the cut. Chronic Crash Out the Canada Goose doesn't sit at the raptor lunch table because if it did, it probably would have seen that coming. But the whole raptor thing's a pain in the prostate, and it's because raptors, they're basically cats that can fly. You remember the cat video I made and how insanely convoluted the names got? Like how a black panther isn't actually an animal, a cat called a panther isn't actually a panther, a snow leopard is genetically closer to a tiger, and how a cougar pushing 220 ain't a big cat, but a cat barely a $110 is. Raptors are low-key the same, where the name raptor doesn't describe a family or union, but like Black Panther, raptor is more like a description. But I'm gonna get to that. Now the other problem with raptors is that nature basically bamboozled them. Of course, the ability to fly is broken, but it comes with hollow bones. Now hollow bones aren't to keep the bird light enough for flight, it's more that pneumatic bones are filled with air and so give extra oxygen to fuel their flight.
They break
but it also
easily.
means a broken bone is a career-ending injury for an avian, and as hunters, they run the risk of getting folded by their own prey. The compromise is, raptors have some of the most heinously creative ways of confiscating consciousness, revoking your existence. Whatever you want to call it, the bird of prey hunting strat is straight out of the pages of a mob boss's fortune diary. And we can start with the secretary bird, aka Jurassic Park in yoga pants, named after the fact that, like a secretary, they'll connect you to
Jurassic Park in yoga pants. Where's the dumpy on this bird, man?
the big boss upstairs if you give them the chance. They cancel prey by kicking them in the head until they flatline or just lie flat, and their usual targets are snakes. The combo of delivering multiple kicks in
kung fu kick it.
blink, and how disrespectfully accurate they are, all adds up to a 6-piece serpent assault where they spam a river dance on a snake's skull until it caves in, leaving the snake out of order.
Bro, I think you got the zookeeper. They do these demonstrations in front of people. Yeah, where you can watch them kill like a snake. It's really funny.
Like a reptile dysfunction. You gotta hand it to them.
Yeah, they curb
That's pretty
stomp
metal.
them
Actually,
hard.
you should do the opposite, since the Kung Fu crane can apparently shatter the bones in a human hand. And it's not just snakes. Secretaries will go
It's because it's so concentrated when they kick you. I studied biology in uni. It sucked.
after things like cheetah cubs and baby gazelle. I think now's a good time to mention they can be an honest 4 feet tall, with a thigh gap
little
no less.
feetsies.
As you can see, they're liable to violate snakes and beauty standards, all while being one of the few birds with 2 pairs of wings. No
They have eyelashes, chat. Ooh.
Red Bull. This high-stepping battery charges with all the smoke, literally, because they'll gather around brush fires just for the opportunity to murk any small animal running for its life.
I've read
Don't
about
let the
this
pretty
too.
privilege distract you. It's an African assassin chicken in thigh boots dressed like a recently divorced mother of 3. And they're not the only ones, because I'll be honest, I low-key forgot this bird
Slay.
existed. This is a Seriama. It's basically a Latin secretary bird, but the real family tree flex is they're the only living relatives of terror birds. Yes, those terror birds.
Oh,
they might be less vertically gifted at less than 2 feet tall, but instead of kicking, Seriamas rather body slam their prey to death. The dinosaur time forgot will grab prey and slam them into the ground or against a rock repeatedly. They'll spam super.
I like how it's smart enough to deduce the fact that there's a rock here. It's not just doing it on the ground, it's doing it on the rock specifically.
They'll spam suplex as many times as it takes for the bones to break. And if you're too big for all that, they'll use the same sickle claw their prehistoric cousins used to hold down prey and disembowel it alive. So if you get targeted by a Seriama, you'll either get the Hulk to Loki treatment, except for the travel-sized terror turkey, eviscerated and violated while pinned by a weaponized toenail, or just swallowed clean like a vorophile's wet dream. So far, we have a curb-stomping aggro bird and a mob boss build and terror bird final form. And we're just getting started. This is a kite, and before you ask, this was named after the bird, not the other way around. The kite is like the forgotten little brother of eagles and hawks, and like a kite, they catch bodies by hovering above the ground and waiting for movement, so they can swoop down and snatch it. I believe kiting is the expression. They're pretty cool. They grief many of the insects that make life slightly less worth living. The 17-year cicada parade is basically their Super Bowl. Like the secretary bird, they too will gather around grass fires, and any animal trying to run from the smoke gets ironically cooked. But Australian black kites take it a step felony by carrying burning twigs and dropping them on patches of grass. An act of avian arson that got them another name, Firehawks. Apparently this is nothing new with records.
Yeah, I read about these too. Yeah, they start fires so that they can flush out rats and stuff.
Them stealing brands from indigenous cooking fires and dropping them half a mile
yeah,
away.
They're super smart.
Scientific records of them dropping bread into water to bait small fish. And if it wasn't for this clip,
wow,
I probably wouldn't believe it. You'd think an aerial arsonist airdropping Inferno in a country that has up to 60,000 wildfires a year would immediately get blacklisted. But no, black kites are protected because once again, of course a felon was—
well, they're part of nature. If you take that away, then you're disrupting a cycle.
Wings is above the law. They're also banned in Boston, but only because we all know Boston can't stand the heat. Now I have a whole video on owls, so I'm not going to talk too much about them. But this is the start of what I was talking about, because you'd normally expect a raptor to be related to other raptors. Instead, the owl's closest relative looks like a Muppet flashlight. Flashlight? What does that? Oh! Well, I can't say that. Owls are predators on incognito, thanks to feathers that allow them to fly almost completely silently. Again, you don't realize how unsettling that is till you go to bed a family and wake up a single mother. They also have a satellite dish for a face and uneven ears, so even under a foot of snow, they can hear exactly where you're about to go. Owls are 100% the closest thing to cryptids with wings, and while they haven't murked people,
they're
allegedly,
awesome.
There's plenty of predators that do feed off unsuspecting humans, just like you, including arguably the worst predator of all. Data brokers. There's a lot of data brokers that feed themselves by collecting your personal information and selling it to the highest bidder. And it's deeper than selling your browser history to companies wanting to know what to sell you back. Some insurance companies will team up with brokers and actually raise your rates based on what you put out online. Cyber criminals can steal personal info like your social security from a broker. And if you've ever gotten one of those robocalls, I think you know who slid them your number. Yeah, the owls don't seem so bad now. Now you can email takedown requests to these sites with your info, but 1, there's just way too many and you will get overwhelmed. 2, I don't have a real job and I don't have time for that, so I know you don't. But 3, even if you run the gauntlet, in a week, it won't matter because it'll probably be back up there. You're up against a predator that plots incognito, so it's only right that you defend yourself with incognito, because incognito will scan the recesses of the internet for your personals and submit takedowns on your behalf. And if a company pushes back and refuses, because honestly, why wouldn't they? Incognito won't let up, and they'll keep checking to make sure you don't get put back in the system. And assuming you survive the aneurysm of finding out just how many people have your information, you can rest easy knowing Incognito basically puts you on a whitelist against predatory brokers. The number of victims of data breaches has gone up over 40% in the last few years, and if you don't want to be a statistic, make sure you go to incognito.com/casualgeo and use the code CasualGeo for 60% off an annual plan to guard your private data. Because believe me, if you knew some of the places your info is right now, your head would spin. Kind of like, wait for it. Yeah, there it is.
Shit.
That's what it looks like to get folded by a falcon. You see,
oh my god, he bitch slapped that thing.
There it is. That's what it looks like to get folded by a falcon.
It's a concussion right there.
Falcons are cool, but they're weaker than eagles and hawks, so instead they commit to the fastest hit and runs on Earth. Literally. the fastest. So falcons like the peregrine will start up high and dive. That's called the stoop. And once the flying derecho hits triple-digit miles per hour, they'll ball up their feet like a fist. So yeah, they really do falcon punch their prey in the past tense. Didn't even give them time to dump. Not only that, but falcons also have a tomio tooth made specifically to snap spinal cords and send prey to the Lord like Sunday service, all while flying. The one-shot specialist has been known to snipe.
The duck didn't have a head after that one? No, really? I thought.
Kind of like. Wait for it. Yeah, there it is. That's what it looks like.
But where's the blood? Did it not just keel over and it's like bending backwards over here? I don't see blood. Yeah,
to get folded.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't because it's like you can't see blood. Okay, well anyway, it's still really scary. That's terrifying.
The world in slow motion. Falcons are dope.
Yeah, I think it just knocked it out.
The whole raptor thing again. Because instead of hawks, eagles, or any other bird of prey, the missile with wings is most related to parrots. So again, raptors in a family name, most of them aren't even closely related. But there are a lot of falcons, like the American kestrel. I like them because they're pretty. Small. The colorway ain't bad either. They also factory reset prey by stabbing them in the back of the head with that tooth, but you can't deny this psychopath's cute. The black-thighed falcon is the smallest bird of prey in the weight class of a sparrow, yet they also find a way to pack up other birds. The pygmy falcon is a nest pirate that often shacks up in the homes of weaver birds. Normally it's a good gig with the pygmies clearing out snakes and lizards, but sometimes they'll switch up and kill their weaver bird roommates, so there's that. But there's another falcon that might just be the biggest bird off of all, and it might also be the most underrated. Next to bad is the caracara. The caracara is a black Air Force parrot. Unlike every other falcon, they'd rather handle business on the ground. They live on honey badger timing, since they'll pull up to a carcass and bully bigger vultures out the way. The crested caracara is a special kind of klepto. They'll straight up mob other birds like pelicans and press them into vomiting their lunch so they can have it.
Look, he's 1v5ing. He doesn't give a frick.
Caracaras in the Falklands are a Pennywise level threat to minor safety. You know, raptor comes from the Latin word to seize or take by force. That's what this avian Amber Alert lives by. Caracaras will also link up with each other and form gangs and have honest-to-God turf wars. Even back in the day, they were on Darwin's radar. In 1830, he mentioned how curious they were, but also how annoying it was to live around a bird that'll steal anything that isn't held down. Turns out this affiliated delinquent.
He's undoing the tent! What a bunch of dickheads!
The bird is low-key the gifted student of the raptor class, and is even smart enough to solve puzzles
for
fun. Basically, caracaras are if the peregrine falcon and the secretary bird had a baby, but it was adopted and raised by crows and tutored by the key on weekends. Just an overall underrated menace of a dinosaur, but also a hyper-intelligent, talented opportunist. Actually, I take that back. Vultures might be the most underrated. People assume something with the feeding habits of a casket is a pushover, and they do get their cookies taken by other raptors. But vultures very much can be about that life too, especially since black vultures often won't wait for an animal to expire.
Looks like a ball sack.
Sick or young animals on the shirt. Some farmers know all too well. Sometimes they'll wait for a cow to give birth just to jump the newborn and return to sender. Sometimes they'll want to wait and they'll move on a cow in labor and act like the world's most malicious midwives. Getting violated by vultures means eyes gouged out, tongue torn off, and they'll even break through the back door. Basically the booty warrior of birds, but unlike boondocks, this one's protected by law. From a surgical psychopath to a scavenger. Yet a bearded vulture eats almost nothing but bones, and they've even been known to swallow ones nearly a foot long. But once in a while,
oh my god. Yo, look at that. He's really dethroning that glizzy.
While they'll go after the living, sometimes in the form of airdropping a tortoise hundreds of feet to feed on the insides like a piñata. You know, mountain climbers were so spiritually disturbed by the party, they called it the bird of Satan. To be fair, they have a sclera ring around their eyes that fills with blood when stressed and makes their eyes turn bloodshot when running a fade. The Grim Reaper's Warkeep with a whole showering gun activated. I don't blame him, that is demonic character design. Also, a bearded vulture allegedly murked a man with a turtle shell to the head like Mario Kart, which sounds fake, but keep in mind, there's a woman walking around with scars from breaking a porcupine's fall.
Oh, that must hurt so much.
You still can't show me a bird with the Harpy Eagle's aura. We already mentioned that life-canceling claws that could probably crush your skull, which is why Harpy Eagles have a prey list of over 116 species. And that includes putting other raptors like Seriamas and vultures on shirts. Don't think for one second nature came out with this and stopped there. The African crowned eagle is basically the harpy of the motherland. Same survival-revoking claws, and same short wings to make it a menace to monkey kind. And they're the only raptor to allegedly see people as prey, with reports of human child remains in nests and the infamous tongue child believed to have been packed up by an African crown. Honestly, any continent outside of Penguin Land has at least one of these eagles. Australian wedge.
They're like menacing, like overgrown, like seagulls, I guess. Like, just going for
Let's go
everything.
after kangaroos and dingoes. In their territory, we're enough to fade $1,000 drone on site. There was one time a wedgie fought a helicopter and won, past tensing a pilot in the process.
This is like the feds.
The North American golden eagle has a hit list of prey in the 400s.
No,
but really, their claim to fame is
Peppa!
how they'll give goats a first-class flight to the gulag with no return trip. I'm sorry, this is so disrespectful. Look at this animation. He gave him an NPC death, gave him nothing but time to reflect. There's the Philippine eagle, which honestly mogs the out of everyone for no reason. But there might not be a bigger flex than the stellar sea eagle. You know, if this wasn't on camera, nobody'd ever believe you. It's one of the heaviest eagles on Earth with an 8-foot wingspan. It's an impressive force in featherface that's apparently been seen carting off seals. Clearly the meteor told them to take a sick day, because dog, you're not telling me that's not a dinosaur. And low-key, they might go the same way. For all the harpy hate I was talking, there's no recorded case of a harpy eagle killing or even attacking a human. In fact, it's them not being afraid of humans that can get them put on a shirt by poachers, add habitat destruction, and if raptors like them aren't endangered, they're at least in danger of being endangered.
Look at the baby, it's so cute and fluffy.
In Millington, New Jersey, looking after all kinds of birds from Ollie the kestrel to Virgil the turkey vulture. They got couples too, like Mariah and Thor the golden eagles. They're mad cute together. And of course, the symbol of America, Colonel and Uno. Uno because of the whole one wing thing. Even though they're technically not raptors, I even met Ray the Raven. You know what's crazy? He's in a cage, and he's in a relationship with another wild raven. Like, he'll even sneak food between the bars of his cage for her. You know what's crazier? His girl has a whole nother family in the wild. I usually don't rock with homewreckers, but I'm rocking with Ray. But like I said, my favorites were definitely the owls, especially this barred owl named Sunny. I think he liked me. Although the vulture's gotta be a close second, since they'll literally walk up and follow you around like a puppy. Oh, this isn't sponsored, by the way. I just had a good time and wanted to shout them out. So if you're ever in the area, the Raptor Trust in Millington, New Jersey, 100% recommended. But that's gonna do it for this video. Drink water, hug your mother, forget that. Shout out to Incogni for sponsoring this video. Shout out to the Pigeon Paralysis Demon for sponsoring Imagination. And I'ma see y'all in the next one.
Oh my god, look at those. They want to kill the cat! Look at them! Vicious. Flappies. Tammy's taunting them.